Welcome to a joint planning and development subcommittee town council meeting. It's Wednesday, May 1st, 2024 at 10 minutes to 6:50 p.m. We're immediately following the DPW subcommittee meeting. We're in the veterans room. It's possible a quorum of town council may be present and discuss the agenda items, but voting rights shall be limited to subcommittee members in attendance. This is being recorded both audio and visual methods. That was agenda item number 1, call to order. Number 2, roll call. Councilor Adams.
Present.
Citizen member LaRochelle.
Present.
Councilor Rivas and citizen member Bernadone are excused, and I'm present. So we have 3 members and a quorum. Item number 3, approved minutes of April 25th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Very good. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? No. Unanimous of all present. Item number 4, review, discuss the application for the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism Destination Development Capital Grant to construct the downtown historic walking tour for up to $50,000 and allow the town manager to sign any related paperwork. Entertain a motion to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Very good, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chairman, first off, Peg apologizes for not being here. She was not feeling well today and did not come in for the day, and she asked if she should drive in for this meeting. I advised her no, that I would do my best, so she did give me some bullet points. I will do my best to answer any questions, but if you just bear with us. She will be there Monday night for any additional questions, so I'll do my best to answer the questions.
Very good.
But in regards to the first one, if you remember, we had a previous grant of $8,000 for this project with a match for the historic walking district. So this would allow them to apply for this grant with a match of $50,000. The question I asked Peg was, was there any money that was going to be needed from the town budget or town capital, or will those groups be responsible for the match? And her answer is, at this time, no match from the town. Group has a window to raise the funds. The grant does allow for town funds to be used, but at this time, they're responsible for getting any match. So there is no request or expectation of a town match for this grant at this time.
Okay, people at the table.
That was my only concern.
Councilor Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is raising the 50,000. I know they came up with the extra 8 last year, but the 50,000. If they have to, does the money have to be raised by May 31st, or is it just as long as it's raised and that they, when you report it to the contracting portion of it, that they spent 50,000 too on their own dime? I'm assuming that's the way.
No, the funds do not have to be committed in advance of applying, and the project will not go forward unless or until they match the funds. That's in the memo that she had provided.
That was the last sentence that I ever read.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is just for her to, for them to apply for the grant.
Anyone else at the table? In the audience? Very good. There being no further discussion, all those in favor? No one opposed? 3-0, unanimous of all present. Item number 5. Review, discuss using park grant fiscal year 23 funds to hire VHB to help design the pocket park for 76 Central for $1,400 and authorize the town manager to sign excuse me, all related documents. Entertain a motion to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you. Through you, items 5 and 6 are of the same project. So you're aware that 76 Central Street, which was the Morals Monument building, has been demoed, and now it is a lot. I do believe we could take the fencing down, so we can have them take the fencing back. That's it, because that's ours. Okay. So she's looking to use VHB to design this little park, which is just a area, and I asked her what, because I was sure that somebody was going to ask me what a pocket park is. It's a small park that ties together the rail trail and the TIP project with a small memorial to the Morals, a small meandering stone dust path, some trees, and some sort of screening between the neighbor and the park. VHB normally would probably charge around $10,000 for this design, but because of the work that they're doing with the TIP project, they're able to incorporate that in, and they're already familiar with the area, so they'll do it for the amount they're seeking. So it's just a different, that will be right next to the rail trail, that's, and we did, this week finally get the approval from the EDA, to move forward to bid. So they gave us, we finally got that final, letter, the covenants, everything's been, so we're finally able to go to bid, so, this would be part of the TIP project in a small park, so.
Okay. Any questions at the table? No? Council Shannon?
Can I ask why we're gonna put a plaque up for Morrow? We paid $250,000 for that thing. So why would we want to award a memorial like that for something that we paid for? It's not like they donated it.
Well, I think it was just, somebody was thinking about recognizing what was there in the past. MD Morrill was a longtime fixture as a cemetery commissioner and, you know, things. I mean, it would be totally up to the council. If they don't want a monument, fine. I think it was just a recognition of what was there and what was in the past and had been there for, you know, for a long time.
I guess I'm looking at it a little differently. I mean, you got Night Blends, what do we, you know, they've donated thousands and thousands of dollars. Hides have donated thousands and thousands of dollars. And we paid $250,000 for a little postage stamp.
Well, I think it was just a reflection, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Certainly.
A reflection of what was sitting there in the park. That's right on the trail. So it's not like we're recognizing them. You know, it's just like the Hilcoma monument that we were talking about. That Hilcoma monument's gonna be moved, and there was talk about putting a sign down in there. That's it.
I
Yeah.
guess-
Correct,
Yep.
Mr. Chairman? Or Mr. Whatever you want.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Short
You know what I mean? It was just
that?
a reflection so people know what was in there in the past.
I guess I could
Ki-
think
ki-
about this over the weekend.
Not necessarily we have to put it
Right,
there, but
no, I
it's
understand.
we still have to design the park anyway,
Right.
but it was just
Right.
a thought.
Okay. Council Marquetti?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. Just looking at this design here, is there some reason for all this brickwork on the street and then shown on the back side of it and in the front of it?
Well,
I think that's,
but I'm not
I
familiar.
believe that is, that's just a concept, that's not actually designed.
Okay.
That'd be like stamped concrete too.
The conversation I asked today because,
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
the conversation I had today with Greg Russell from VHB, as part of a different conversation regarding the TIP project was this particular part. So I asked him about the cost, because who designs the park for $1,400? As the town manager already mentioned, because there is some overlap with the design from the TIP project, this area was already partially included. The park wasn't actually laid out, so there was no design in place for the park. So it's a simple addition to plans that are already somewhat put together, which is why the cheap cost. The drawing is just a concept. I believe the park's going to consist of 4 to 5 trees, a small winding stone dust path, and then the monument, potentially the monument that was discussed, a possible granite plaque for some form of artwork or something along those lines in the future. Just very simple, which will just end up being a decoration to assist with the feel of the walking trail.
And then the path seems to cross diagonal across Central Street. Is that such a good idea to have pedestrians going diagonally across an intersection?
The walking trail itself,
That's what it looks like. It looks like they
I
have
do believe that's the design because of the alignment of the rail trail itself. That is the right-of-way crosses in that
And do
form.
you think that's a wise idea, to have people diagonally crossing an intersection? You're gonna have I believe you're gonna have lights there,
Yes.
and when one has red, the other one will have green, and you're gonna have people crossing diagonally?
Unfortunately, I wasn't part of the conversation for that design. I can only speak on what I spoke about today with the park. I don't know much about the rail trail design.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Council Adams?
Just real quick on that, across the street, I wonder if it'd be concurrent lights, so it'd be red for everybody, and then they're able to walk straight across, like they do in a lot of other areas for that. And then I was thinking about that monument being this is historical, the individuals that are doing this, about the history of the whole place, is more of a probably, like Jack said, it's probably more of a, hey, at one point in time, this is where this place was at that.
I understand that a little bit, you know. I'm not gonna hold up something for that, you know.
I was just thinking that's what would be the concept.
Okay, anyone else? Very good, all those in favor? Unanimous of all present. Item number 6, review and discuss the use of the remaining $30,000 in Park fiscal year 23 grant funds to hire the contractor with the lowest quote to construct a pocket park and purchase items for 76 Central Street to ensure funds are spent by the grant closeout in June 2024, excuse me, and allow the town manager to sign any related paperwork. Entertain a motion to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Manager.
This goes with the previous item. Peg did a great job with the demo of that building to save as much money as she could, so this is the remaining funds, so that's what we're allocating these funds for.
Okay, anyone at the table? In the audience? Very good, all those in favor? Unanimous of all present. Item number 7, review, discuss the transfer of $25,000 from project number 64730, Rail Trail Stabilization, to Mass Trails project number 87161, as matching funds towards an additional $100,000 from Mass Trails for construction, administration, construction oversight of the Quinnebog Valley Rail Trail, and allow the town manager to sign any related paperwork. Entertain a motion to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Manager.
So as I just stated, the town was finally given the okay to go out to bid for the rail trail. Part of the requirements for the grant is that we have oversight. This would allow us to use those monies for the oversight of the construction of that, along with Rich. We work hand in hand on that. When we were looking for the money for this, I was scouring through the existing capital accounts, and one of the accounts that I did identify was a rail trail stabilization account, Quinnebog River Rail Trail Stabilization Account, for those councils that were on when we first started. We had the $100,000 that was allocated from free cash back in the day for the rail trail. If you remember, they were gonna fix the rail trail, and then we had the issues with Mass DOT. There was some money used to stabilize the banking because it was collapsing in a certain area. These monies were left over. I thought this was a natural progression to close out that capital account and then be able to use it towards this program, because it's all related to the rail trail. So it's really rail trail, and we get to close out one of the capital accounts that everybody keeps talking about.
Councilor Shaney.
That's going out for bid soon?
Yeah, they're preparing the documents now. Everything should be almost pretty close, and Peg could probably give you more of an update, but we finally got the okay saying, yes, you're able
So
to.
construction should start this year?
I would say probably by late summer, early fall, given all things considered.
I
But
see the next one, the next item is asking you to extend something till 25.
that's the other side of the Quinnebog Rail Trail,
All right, we'll get there in a
towards the
second.
Heritage Trail.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion on 7? Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. You're not actually closing out the account, though. So that's the other,
Well, what I will come with a remaining balance on a further allocation. I have some other accounts that I'm looking to close out, but this would be get it closer.
all right,
I stand corrected, yes.
thank
It
you.
will be closer to closing that up.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Anyone else? All those in favor? Unanimous of all present. Item number 8, review, discuss the approval of an extension to the Mass Trails Grant contract to June 2025 if approved by the Department of Conservation and Recreation. Entertain a motion to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Manager?
So, I'll try to do my best on this one. Well, I said I would be able to answer. I just believe it's that it's been delayed, waiting for the Mass DOT Rails Trail. Oh, so this is part of the same project? So it's part of the same project, it's just that it was delayed because of the EDA, which we just got the approval to move forward. So we're asking for an extension for that money.
Anyone at the table? Councilor Adams?
Thank you. Just the last sentence. We are therefore asking to use the grant funds in FY 25 or 5 rather than FY 25. So I think that should be, the last part should be FY 24.
Correct.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
And they just asked for extension because of the delays.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Okay. Council Shan?
I just, you know, what bothers me is delaying these to each year. I mean, we're doing that with the bridge, the two bridges on Mill Street, we delay that. What concerns me is the delays with the state getting, like they are with their budgets, that they're gonna arbitrarily come in and take those monies delayed, and then we're stuck either with a project not happening, and they may not do that, but the state has done some funky things in its time.
So the majority of the delay on this was because of the federal side of the DOT to get the covenant, and it was a very laborious, I can't tell you how many emails went back and forth with the EDA, and they had a different project manager, so we're finally at that point where everybody has signed off, and we had to get releases, we had to get a release from the Center of Hope, because of everything that was along the rail trail to go in. That's all been cleared up. We've got the go-ahead, yes, go ahead, you got the blessing. We are going to bid, so we should be able to start spending those monies as soon as we get the bid in. This is not like we're gonna delay it next year and then come back for another delay. We are at the point right now where we're able to go out to bid.
All right, it's just those things concern me because.
They concern everybody, trust me.
Councilor
I
Adams?
think it's more of a, thank you, Mr. Chair, I think it's more of just an administrator. And so we vote on it, we continue to use those funds. I mean, it's really a statement that, as Jack, town manager said, the feds at that time, 'cause we were all part of this whole process and it took forever to do it. But if you notice, when I say administrative, is CDBG always seems to be getting extended one extra year out because maybe not all the funds have been utilized or anything like that. So we just don't want to lose the funds or make sure the officials,
That's my
yeah,
concern,
absolutely.
because like losing the funds. I mean, we've had discussion with Rich, like with the bridge, you know, and he wasn't even part of the discussion, if I recall, to extend that to the following, another year. Am I correct? Mill Street Bridge delay, we put it off for 2 years, is it?
Yes.
And,
I was part of the conversation, and it was, I was the one that questioned if it was going to affect the funding.
correct.
And we got, a guarantee was given for the funding, so I said, as long as the funding is guaranteed, I have no issue.
All right. Okay.
And trust me, Peg has been very diligent on getting this through to the point where we finally got the covenant. She was like, I'll drive to Cambridge and give it to the lawyer and have her stamp it that day. So we, like I said, we just got the letter this week. Everything's good, so we're ready to go.
Councilor Marquetti?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through, my concern is the costs, because if you keep delaying something, costs are always gonna go up. We've seen it happen with the fire station, we've seen it happen with all the bridges in town, where the cost of construction keeps going up and up and up. So that's my concern, is the rail trail gonna cost more the longer we delay it?
So we're not delaying going out to bid. We just got the agreement to say go out to bid.
All right.
All we're saying is now we're going out to bid. There's been all these delays, not of our doing. We need to make sure that the funding stays in place. So all we're saying is, we're not saying we're delaying our bid. What we're saying is, you said that we have to expend it by the end of FY '24. We need an extension to go FY '24 into '25. That's all.
Very good, thank you.
Anyone else? All those in favor? Unanimous of all present. Item number 9, review discuss the application for up to $200,000 in green communities funding for weatherization upgrades in town buildings. Entertain a motion to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Manager.
Thank you. I'm really going to defer to Rich on this because he has been working with Peg in regards to this Green Communities grant. It's just similar to the grant that we got approved for at the library with the weatherization project. So they've done some, Rich has worked with Peg and our consultant at Guardian for a couple of buildings, police, DPW. And I think there's some good opportunities at the DPW facility and the police department to do some weatherization and finish off some things. It may cost the town some money, but we do get incentives. But I'll defer to Rich on what those projects are because he's more familiar with them than I would be.
So, if I may?
Go ahead.
One thing that I've learned recently about some of these grant opportunities that are associated with building maintenance or HVAC upgrades to town buildings is if there has not been any weatherization done to the buildings, then it kind of takes us out of the running for a lot of the grant opportunities. And each grant, I believe, has a certain qualification for how much weatherization has been completed, but all or most of the grants require that you at least have had some form of weatherization done to the building. So we had weatherization audits completed by the consultant that we're using, George Whiting, and his company, of the Casabon Senior Center, the DPW, the library, and the police station most recently. We're looking at opportunities for this round of grant funding. From the conversation that I had today with all the individuals involved from the state and the CMRPC, it's looking like the most effective means to possibly get some of this funding is going to be some weatherization projects at DPW, the senior center, and the library. So for the senior center, we're looking at some weather stripping around doors and such. I know that we're in the process of doing a door project, so I believe they're looking at some of the windows and areas that there might be drafts. They come in with thermal cameras during the colder months and calculated heat losses in certain sections of each building. So the library, in the attic of the original library, there's two chimney structures that are basically operating as ventilation shafts. So in the summertime, those shafts prevent condensation and heat buildup in the attic area. But in the wintertime, there's nothing to seal them off, so any excess heat that's escaping through into the attic is being dispersed through these ventilation shafts, and there's no control over it. So the project that's being proposed under this grant would be to install some temperature-sensitive dampeners that would automatically open and close based on temperature. So it would allow the attic to ventilate properly during the summer months, but then seal itself during the winter months when it's cold to allow that heat to stay in the building. The DPW, we're looking at upgrading some air handling units that are ancient and very inefficient, and also looking at the possibility of installing new weather stripping around the garage bay doors, and the potential installation of heat curtains, the forced hot air curtains. So our two main doors that are used 20 to 30 times a day, they open to bring equipment in and out. We specifically use two doors most often, so we're looking at the possibility of installing heat curtains on those doors so that when the door opens, we can retain the heat inside the building and it's not emptying the building. Because it's such a large space, as soon as one of those doors opens, it takes all of the heat out of most of the building and sends it right outside. So these are all projects that are based around efficiency and heat savings, saving fuel, so green favorable grant. So right now, this is what we're looking at for this year for that particular grant. So we're just looking to be able to apply for it. There are some numbers for each project, but they're still evolving. But the overall grant is no more than, I think, $225,000. So that's all I have.
Okay. That's a lot.
And so we just finished, I think, the council, if you remember, we did the weatherization project at the library, the one project. The motorized dampers was proposed last year. However, we're trying to get a handle on where we had monies and all that. So we only picked one project, but that project has been done. $40,000 project that ended up costing us about $16,000. And through the efforts of the staff, we had committed we had allocated $40,000 capital, but the way we're working out the paperwork, we won't have to wait for the incentive, they'll just bill directly to the company the
Oh, nice.
balance, and we will just have to pay our portion, so we'll be able to send back, 23,000 back to the capital, stabilization account.
Director Roy?
Just to follow up on what the manager just spoke on, so for this particular grant opportunity, there is a very minimal to no match from the town. So currently, the only match that we're looking at right now is if the air curtains do not qualify for the grant, then it reduces the overall value of the weatherization of that facility, and that would require us to cover a certain amount of cost of the weatherization. At the moment, the max cost is roughly $12,800 for the weather stripping weatherization. That would be our portion that we would have to pay. As far as the other buildings are concerned, at this time, there is no town, it's 100% covered, there is no town portion. But that $12,800 is something that we could potentially not have to pay if the air curtains qualify. So
Okay.
they're currently using us as a guinea pig because I requested the air curtains because I see the value in them. It's not something that this program has ever covered before, but they are interested in doing so. So they're looking into the possibility of being able to do this. If it can be covered, it will increase the value of our project and put us beyond the point of having to pay some.
Would they be using the DPW as an example? Let's take a winter and see how it works?
So in order to do this, they have to, every part of this, you have to prove a potential savings from heat loss. So they have to calculate the amount of heat loss that will not be lost. So in order to qualify for the project to qualify for the grant. So if they're able to offer us the air curtains for our facility, it would be a great value for the town, but it will also open up that opportunity for other towns.
Right.
I was the first person that brought it up and said, hey, we're losing a lot of money every time somebody pushes a button and opens the door. And they said, well, that makes a lot of sense. So we had a long discussion about how our facility functions, and because it is one large open air building, there is no dividers in the bays. It's just one huge building for the most part. So as soon as you, in the wintertime, the heating system out in the garage just runs constantly all day. But if you walked into that facility at night, the furnace isn't running because the building levels out, the doors aren't opening, the heat's not escaping. It's a very well insulated building. It's just that we have some issues.
Yeah.
So.
That's it, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous of all present. Item number 10, adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? 3-0, unanimous of all present, plus the audience.